Hey guys, it's Dirk. Good news, we're going to be back at Move Church in June. You have to sit with your family, so we won't be inside Move Kids. That means you won't get to climb on me. I won't get to throw you around. You'll get to see your friends, but at a 6-foot distance. Erica's got a really good message for us today. She'll be talking about not worrying. So it's important to remember that God's with you, so you don't have anything to worry about, because he says he'll take care of us. Next, sometime really soon, we're going to be back and Move Kids. Then we can play games and all the fun stuff that we normally do. I'm actually think I'm getting weaker because I'm not throwing y'all around. My arms they're just not the same as they were. Anyway, I love you all. I hope that y'all have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoy the message. And if Erica says something that you don't understand, ask your parents, talk about it, and y'all get together as a group, and then maybe you'll catch on a little bit better. Thanks, guys. I love y'all. Bye.
Hey guys, Miss Erica here. I hope you guys are having a great week. I am so far. I'm super excited about Memorial Day this weekend. I get an extra day off work, so I get 3 days off to spend with my family and rest and relax this weekend. So I am super excited. I hope you guys get some extra time with your families this weekend. If not, that's totally okay. But as Mr. Dirk said, we are going to be back at Move soon. So yay, in just a couple weeks. And like he said, it's going to look a little different, but that's okay. We're going to be together and we're going to get to see each other. And I cannot wait to see your smiling faces. So this week, we are going to talk about worrying or not worrying. And before I get started, I want you guys to watch a short video, and it's going to play right now.
Hey everybody, listen up. Here's what God has to say.
Has to say about what?
Well, I was just about to tell you
Wait,
that...
is it good news or bad news? Like, good news as when we're having pancakes for dinner?
Pancakes? What are you even talking about?
Oh no! Is it bad news? As in velociraptors are prowling around downtown with laser beams coming from their eyes and they're stealing everyone's pants? So many pants! It's got me so worried.
Let me stop you right there. That's what our story is about.
About pants?
Ha ha, not pants. Worrying. There are so many things we can worry about, and God has something to say about it. So let's jump into our story about Gideon.
Gideon! My main man! But wait, what did he have to worry about?
Great question, and great place to start. So, Gideon was an Israelite. The Israelites were God's chosen people, but they started to do some really bad things that upset him.
Oh, like cheating on tests and staying up past their bedtimes? That's like bad.
Oh, even really badder than that. They started to disobey God, so he let a mean group of people, the Midianites, rule over them. For years, they would attack the Israelites and destroy their crops.
Oh man, bullies who take your lunch money? Definitely lots to worry about.
Oh yeah, and this went on forever. Finally, the Israelites shouted out to God, asking for his help.
Time to throw up the bat signal.
Even though the Israelites had started worshiping false gods, the one true God heard their cries. He had an idea and was about to come through for them big time.
He was going to give them a shrink ray gun so they could turn the Midianites into little baby ants. Now that's an idea.
Oh, it's an idea, all right. And that's where Gideon comes back into the picture. Gideon, who was hiding while separating the wheat they used for bread, was worried that if the Midianites knew he had food, they would take it. That's when God sent an angel who said to Gideon,
"Mighty warrior, God is with you."
Gideon did not feel like God was with them and asked the angel about all the bad things that were happening. That's when God himself spoke to Gideon. He said, "You are strong. Go and save Israel from the power of Midian. I am sending you."
Well, I guess it doesn't get much more clear than that, right?
Well, you'd think so, but Gideon was still worried. He wondered why on earth God would choose him to go save everyone. It's not like he came from a strong family. Gideon didn't feel important at all. God reassured Gideon that he would be with him, but Gideon needed a sign. So he asked God to stick around for a minute while he prepared an offering.
I'm sure God didn't mind waiting since he's got all the time in the world.
Gideon whipped up some bread and goat stew, brought it back, and placed it on a rock. That's when the angel touched it with a stick, and the whole thing went up in flames.
Flaming bread, and flaming stew, and flaming rocks.
There weren't any flaming rocks, but Gideon did make an altar there for God. And speaking of altars, that same night, Gideon snuck around.
Like a ninja dressed in all black, throwing ninja stars at the other altars, and slicing a pole in half using a samurai sword.
Gideon didn't have ninja stars or a samurai sword, but he did destroy the altar and pole his family had used for worshiping false gods.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Gideon did all this at night because he was afraid and worried that his family would be very angry with him. When the townspeople saw what Gideon had done, they wanted him to pay for it. But nothing bad happened to Gideon.
Sounds like that was a close call.
It sure was. A little while later, the Midianites started moving in for another attack, and it didn't take long for Gideon to start worrying again. He knew God had promised to use him to save Israel and all, but he needed another reminder.
What did Gideon have in mind? It's not like God could just shoot him a text.
No cell phones, but Gideon did have an idea. You see, dew would form overnight and make the ground, as well as everything else around it, wet. So Gideon left a piece of wool on the ground overnight and asked God to make the wool wet from the dew, but leave the ground dry.
Wet wool, dry ground, check.
Sure enough, God did just that. But Gideon still wasn't sure and asked God if he'd do just the opposite the next night.
Okay, so dry wool and wet ground. Got it.
When Gideon woke up the next morning, that's exactly what he found. The wool was dry, but the ground around it was covered in dew.
Please tell me Gideon trusted God this time.
Gideon was now confident that God wanted him to fight the Midianites. He knew that the Lord thought he was good enough to do the job. So Gideon decided to stop worrying, trust God, and do exactly what God wanted him to do.
So the next time we find ourselves worrying about anything,
we can trust God.
Okay, great. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I did. So in the video, we learned about Gideon in the Bible and how he had a lot of anxious thoughts and he worried a lot. And God just kept speaking to him saying, just trust me. Don't worry. Trust me. I'm here for you. I got you. Don't worry. Just trust in me. And it took a little time for Gideon to comprehend that. It took him a little time to really, really trust Jesus. And I know we say a lot of times, sure, I trust God. Like, I know God's got me. I trust him. But when we worry constantly, it kind of shows that we don't fully trust God. So whenever you start to feel worried or nervous or anxious, stop what you're doing and pray in that moment. You can pray, God, I'm sorry for my worry and for my mistrust. God, please just be with me and help me to trust you. And he will. In fact, our sticky statement this week is when I feel worried, I can trust God. And Miss Erica needs to hear that all the time because that's something that I struggle with, is feeling worried and anxious. And I know that some of you guys do too. But I tell you, what has helped me so much is when I have those thoughts or feelings, I pray to him and I think on our sticky statement that says, when I feel worried, I can trust God. So I'm going to say it one more time and I want you to repeat after me. When I feel worried, I can trust God. Now you go. That was so good. So just remember, whenever you're worried or nervous, stop what you're doing and pray and say, when I feel worried, I can trust God. And he's going to be there for you and he's going to help you through whatever situation you are going through. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you have a great Memorial Day. I love you. I'm going to say a quick prayer, and then I hope to see you soon. Dear Father, I thank you for each boy and girl that's listening to this message. I pray for them, God, as we are going through such an uncertain time right now where we don't really know what's going to happen, that we know that it's okay because you are on our side, that no matter what happens in our country, in our world, in our family, with our friends, that we need not worry or feel anxious because we can stop and pray and you are on our side. In your name I pray, amen. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.